it. You have fun on this side? It's not saying no.
It's like a debate club.
Good morning. My name is Josh Fidella. I'm the proud superintendent of the Peabody Public Schools. On behalf of Mayor Betancourt and our school committee, I'm pleased to welcome everyone here to Peabody Veterans Memorial High School. We're honored today to have Governor Baker, Lieutenant Governor Polito, Secretary Acosta, and Secretary Peyser here to talk about skills capital grants. Peabody Veterans Memorial High School is the proud recipient of a grant last year of $175,000 that went to our culinary arts program and our electrical engineering. These grants are really beneficial. We're really thankful for the legislators for putting them together and approving them, and they really go to benefit not just the schools and the students, but our community at large. So today I have a representative from RCN. Our electronics and engineering program was able to grow and improve through one of these grants, and we were able to develop a partnership through fiber optics with RCN. Our students then get internships and potentially jobs after school, and they can go right into the workforce prepared even better than they were through just a regular program. So today I'd like to welcome a representative from RCN, Paul Panagopoulos, to talk a little bit about our partnership with their program. Paul? There you go. Hey, Paul. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. For the last year, RCN has been working with Peabody High on a partnership to help teach and train students about a career in fiber optics. As a leader in fiber optic technology, RCN has donated our expertise and materials so that Peabody High can have the best fiber optic teaching lab in the country. Without the vision, passion, and rigor of Peabody High School in developing the fiber optic program, this unique opportunity and collaboration would not have been possible. At this time, we'd love to thank Maria Ferry and Dale LaRock for working tirelessly to create this program. Thank you. We're inspired by your vision. This summer, we have been working on installing a fiber optics lab to be ready for students when they start school this fall. It's a challenge, but we're going to get there. The lab includes fiber optic racks with patch panels and equipment used to build fiber optic networks, real ones. The lab will allow students to perform exercises in a simulated real-world environment as they practice troubleshooting and installing fiber. We are also excited to announce today that we are creating 4 paid internship programs. We were going to start with externships, but we said, let's just pay these guys. So we're going to have the internship programs for seniors who will be working side by side with RCN technicians and help them become job ready when they graduate. We are looking forward to the next generation being trained in the field of fiber optics, and the partnership will provide skilled and certified technicians to fill critical positions. This is an incredible opportunity for the students to learn state-of-the-art tech skills, and for RCN, as we help to create a program that we hope can be modeled elsewhere. Thank you. Josh?
Thank you, Paul. So as you can see, these skills capital grants really help improve our programs. Many of these industries are ever-changing and they're cutting edge, and it's very important for us to be able to have the latest equipment to prepare our students for the workforce. Over the past 2 years, our enrollment in the electronics and engineering program has already doubled, and we're already seeing the benefits, and our students are seeing the benefits of these grants. Overall, Peabody High School has over 400 students enrolled in career and technical education programs, and we're looking to expand even more. So I just want to thank all of our legislators and the governor for allowing us into this grant program and really just seeing the benefits. And so now, without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Governor Baker to say a few words. Thank you, Governor. In the country, with the first one.
Hey, Paul? Yes. Isn't Peabody the first fiber optic certified program in the country?
It is the first.
You should come say that.
Okay. By the way, this is the first certified program in the country. And like I said, it is. It's awesome. And we hope it is, people take a look at it and develop it elsewhere. And especially in Mass for us.
I hope they only take advantage of that in Massachusetts.
I just said it. Thank you.
So thank you, and thanks to the folks from Peabody, and congratulations for hosting us here today. This is an opportunity for us to talk about something that, hi guys, we got a whole bunch of kids here, so thank you for your work. I want to start first of all by thanking the folks from Peabody, and especially Paul, you and the folks at RCN. What makes these Career Technical Institute programs work are the partnerships that exist between employers and educators, and the opportunities that they make available to kids, and in many cases to young adults who are looking to transition from one career to the next, is exactly why we got into this in the first place, and why we think this Skills Capital Grant Program is such a big win for so many here in the Commonwealth. This was something that we put together back in 2015 when we did it the first time. It was a little bit of an experiment. We cobbled together some bond funding from a variety of different programs that have been made available by the legislature, and honestly, we weren't really sure if this was something that people would pick up on or not. But the idea when we started it was to make these grants available to educational institutions, vocational schools, community-based job training and credentialing programs, community colleges, but they could only bid on these programs to access these capital funds if they brought employers in as part of their bid. The idea being that you really wanted people to be making investments in gear that was going to make it possible for them to significantly enhance their relationships and the relationships of their students with local employers who were looking for folks with particular skills to build a workforce with. And that has literally been the way this thing got started back in 2015. And I do want to say to the representative and to the senator who are here today, this was one of those things where we weren't sure if it was going to be a big idea or not. It caught on very quickly with a lot of folks in the educational and employer community, and the legislature stepped up and came through with significant resources in each of the last two economic development bills to support this program, which has made it possible for us with today's $10 million grant awards to 47 institutions. We will now have put $102 million into these capital skills grants over the course of the past 6 years. And for us, this is a wonderful validation of a program that we weren't quite sure would take off when we got started. But I'll tell you, over the past few years, both the secretaries and the lieutenant governor and I have visited numerous schools that have been part of this program, and we are always amazed when we're there by how many employers are hovering around just waiting for the kids and young adults who are working their way through these programs to graduate so that they can give them an opportunity to go to work and to build a career. And I think in some ways, given where we are as a Commonwealth, where we are as a country, and where we are economically, it's more important than ever that we do everything we can to amp up and ramp up our educational institutions and make sure they're working collaboratively with the employer community so that we can build skills and give people the credentials that they need to be successful in an economy that I think we would all agree is going through a bit of a recovery right now, but is certainly going to continue to change. And some of the change that's going to take place will absolutely be driven by the aftermath of all the issues associated with the pandemic, which is why having the first fiber optic certified program in the country will end up, I think, being a really good thing for RCN, a really good thing for Peabody, and hopefully a jumping off point for a lot of other programs here in the Commonwealth as well. The one other thing I want to say is I don't think I've ever been to a high school where I saw just a total lineup of drones of every kind you could possibly imagine, and including one where you literally put the goggles on and you can see what the drone sees as it flies around, and you can actually adjust it in real time while it's flying. And I thought to myself, how far is my house from here? But that's exactly what we want to be doing here. We want to give kids and young adults the opportunity to work with the latest equipment, the latest gear, and opportunities in industries and in spaces where we believe there's going to be significant growth economically and in terms of jobs and employment, and then make it possible for them to develop the skills that they need to get into those careers and to build a life and make a living. And that is in many respects why we got into this in the first place, and why we're so thrilled to be able to grant another $10 million today in conjunction with our colleagues in the legislature who make this possible, and to be able to say that we've put $100 million into this program and have seen time and time again as we've traveled around the Commonwealth the incredible impact this has, not just on the skill base and the capability of the schools and the educational institutions that are involved in it, but the relationships it creates between those educational institutions and their employer community, which makes it possible for a lot of people to use that as a jumping off point to build a life and make a living. So this is a very big day for us, but it's coming on the heels of many big days on behalf of many institutions and organizations over the course of the past 5 or 6 years. And we hope to be able to continue to build on the success of this program in the years to come, because this is a winner. And it's a winner for kids, it's a winner for young adults, it's a winner for the employer community, and it's a winner for our terrific educational institutions here in the Commonwealth. So congratulations to Peabody, congratulations to the other award winners who are here today, and again, thanks to the legislature for supporting this initiative, which just began as kind of an idea that we really didn't know where it was going to go or whether it was going to work, but it has, and we hope we can continue to see significant success in it going forward. And with that, I will turn it over to the LG.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here at Peabody High. It's great to see all of these wonderful students taking some time to be with us during the summer months. And what I took away from our visit this morning, each and every one of you is excited, you have an amazing energy, and you realize the value that you are bringing to the Massachusetts economy, but more so, you're on a career path that's taking you to great places, places that you have dreamed of, some of you, for a long time of going. So congratulations to all of the students. You've made an excellent choice by attaching yourselves to this school and the educational opportunities that exist here. So to all the students, just once again. There's three things I just want to emphasize here. First of all, we are ranked in this, and Massachusetts is ranked as one of the top economies for innovation. So when you think about innovation, you have to think about problems that exist in the world and people having the skills and know-how to solve them, and doing things in a different way than have been done in the past. And the reason why Massachusetts is able to call themselves a high player in terms of innovation is because we have heavily invested in people through our academic institutions, right through 12th grade, making connections to community colleges, four-year degree programs, and higher ed beyond that. But in order for us to continue to be competitive and continue to hold that title, we need to invest in skill development and in educational opportunities all across the board. Yes, we have some really smart people that have PhDs and higher degrees, but they are valuable just as much as a certificate or a credential that comes out of a program like this. And I would argue that we need, in order to address the workforce skills gaps that are even more so pronounced because of the pandemic that has bedded down on us over the past year and a half, we need more skills programs like this with credentials and certificates in order to close that gap and get more kids involved in these programs and into places like RCN to go to work. So congratulations to all of you on developing these programs, but not just resting on your laurels and saying we have enough programs, but taking on a fiber optics program, taking on a drones program. That in itself is innovation here at Peabody High, figuring out how you can do more to help us solve these problems. The next is I want to just credit Maria and your team, because what you've done is say, we at Peabody High realize that there are some challenges that exist for workforce development, but you don't have all the answers here. So you have figured out how to reach out through your advisory board to the business community and basically ask people like Paul, what is it that you need in this program? And we'll design the program based upon your advice, and we will build it on what you need in your workplace. That's incredible. And I think that's really the secret sauce to the success of these programs. And then the key piece is the dollars that the governor talked about. Over $100 million now over the past 6 years has revolutionized what a classroom looks like in a place like Peabody High. Basically replicating what a workplace looks like in your classroom with state-of-the-art technology and equipment that you normally would not see in a K through 12 or here at a high school setting. So you basically put the best equipment into the hands of your teachers and your staff and into the hands of these kids, where they are doing experiential learning, hands-on learning, problem solving, and then at the end of the day, graduating with something really valuable and something tangible that can go to work right here in our Commonwealth. I've said to the governor and our team before, we have to be a little selfish here. We are in the talent development business, and we want to retain this talent here in the Commonwealth. And if you can have more programs like paid high school internships and kids graduating with these certificates, they'll go directly into the workforce and start working for employers right here in this region and in this Commonwealth. And then they stay here, they grow their career here, they lay their roots here, maybe start their own business here someday. So that's really a great value here to our Commonwealth. So thank you. I want to recognize our partners. As the governor said, we have Representative Walsh and Senator Tarr here, and our legislature has been incredibly supportive of the Career and Technical Institute. And in fact, in the Economic Development Bill in 2018, they established another $75 million in grants to last over 5 years. So they've doubled down on their commitment to this program. I want to also thank our colleagues in local government. I see Mayor Driscoll here from Salem. She's a big believer in this program and really wants to see more of this happen. She wants to see more of the students employed in the businesses in her community being a destination for travel and tourism. The students graduating from the culinary program certainly do make their way to Salem to work and to contribute to your economy there. We also have grants that are being extended to Mass Bay Community College. You received a 2-year grant totaling $750,000 to purchase new equipment to support students in the nursing and allied health programs. And we have some other institutions here today, and I want to recognize you. The Greater Lawrence Technical School, you're here. Northeast Metropolitan Regional Vocational High School, nice to see you. Salem High is obviously here. Yes, and Swampscott High? Yeah, okay, you had to show. You've got an important person here from your community. And last but not least, obviously, Peabody High. All 47 educational institutions had to compete for these grants. There is a lot of demand, obviously, And as the governor often reminds us, when you find something that's working, do more of it. And we certainly put this program in the do more of it. It's essential not only for these kids to have a great future here in our Commonwealth, it's essential for our employers, and it's essential for the future success of our Commonwealth. So congratulations to all of you. It is now my pleasure to turn this over to Secretary Acosta. She's one of the 3 secretaries that is part of our Workforce Skills Cabinet of Secretaries, where we've asked the Educational Secretary, the Economic Development Secretary, and the Labor and Workforce Development Secretary to work together. If you haven't seen the commercials, you're going to get a live one right now that's going to talk about the mass hire effort to match people looking for jobs to employers who need to fill jobs. And that whole live effort is underway this week. And it's very exciting to put people either back to work or to put people into work that pays and brings more to their individual prosperity and to their families. So congratulations. With all of that, Secretary Acosta.
Good morning, everybody. I think it's a real compliment to be called a live commercial, so thank you. I'll do that in a second. I'm really pleased to be here, but before I go further, I do want to recognize, there is a lot of work that goes behind these grants, and we certainly get a ton of them. They're very competitive, they're not easy to get, and they're extremely well written, so they're very hard. It's very hard to choose who goes first. So I congratulate all the recipients because you did an amazing job with all the grant writing. But I also want to recognize our team behind the Workforce Skills Cabinet. The secretaries is a terrific trio of Jen James from my office. Jen, raise your hand, please. Bob LePage from Education, and Mark Fuller from Housing and Economic Development. And I just want to give them a round of applause. So it is my extreme pleasure to be here. I think that we do a ton of events together, but this team smiles widest, I think, when we're in the schools, when we visit our community colleges and our vocational schools and our high schools, because we really see this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where the action happens. This is the pipeline, and for me in workforce, this is my dream. I love seeing students, all of those beautiful students in the back there, getting prepared for a future for our economy, because employers are waiting for you. We have 200,000 job openings right now, and they need you and they need your skills. So I'm very, very thrilled to say that this week we are, yes, this is my commercial piece, we are hosting the largest job fair that Massachusetts has ever hosted in its history. The Mass Hire Virtual Job Fair begins today, and it's through Friday. If you're an employer interested in looking for employees, go to mass.gov/jobfair. If you're a young person or if you're unemployed or underemployed, go to mass.gov/jobfair. We have almost 7,000 job seekers right now signed up, and almost 1,400 employers signed up this week. So please join us, and as I said, I think I said 200,000 job openings, and we need to get those filled. So I just want to chat a little bit about just this past year, where we've been this year and a half. We know that this pandemic has disproportionately hit lower wage workers, and many of those workers are Black, Latinos, and women. Many of them also remain on extended unemployment benefits ending the week of September 4th, not too far away. No doubt that these last 18 months have shed greater light on our inequities in our economy that we must address. We already know that skill building is an important tool in creating a more equitable workforce. The recently released Future of Work report further validates the significance of investing in training programs in critical growth industries like healthcare, advanced manufacturing, information technology, and the trades. As we continue to address economic disparities across the Commonwealth and provide solutions to employment gaps in high-demand industries, the Skills Capital Grant Program plays a significant role in training students of all ages for successful, long-lasting careers. I'm excited to see the students in Peabody and all over the Commonwealth benefit from these grants so that they can enter the workforce with the knowledge, confidence, and skills required to meet industry expectations. It's incredibly rewarding to see businesses like RCN partnering with schools to make real progress that benefits both students and employers. Without the employers, we cannot make any of this happen. So thank you, Paul, and everyone at RCN for your commitment to these students in the electrical engineering program. Some of today's awards recipients are also taking advantage of our Career Technical Initiative grants, operating 3 shifts at their schools using the state-of-the-art equipment purchased through the Skills Capital grants. All these efforts contribute to increasing the population of much-needed skilled workers. And the goal of the Career Technical Initiative is to use existing resources at vocational high schools, help businesses find the skilled talent they need, and ultimately train 20,000 new workers over the next 3 years. Training programs that lead to job placement will not work as intended without the collaboration between the school, the students, and the employers. Today we are seeing firsthand the impact of such a collaboration. We've got a lot of work to do over the coming years, months, and weeks, but by working together, we can continue preparing our workforce for a resilient and more equitable economy. And with that, it's my pleasure to turn the mic over to my colleague, Secretary Jim Peyser.
Thank you, Secretary Acosta. Thank you, Governor, Lieutenant Governor, everyone here at Peabody. Thanks for inviting us here and helping us to celebrate this important milestone of reaching $100 million in skills capital grants. I appreciate the Secretary thanking some of the team members who have made this possible. There are 2 others I'd like to mention. One is Liz Bennett, who's with the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education and oversees our career technical programs. The other, I think, is James Poplaski behind you, who's actually the real hero of the Skills Capital Grant Program. He's been here facilitating the grant process for all $100 million, and equally important has been overseeing the implementation of those grants throughout this entire 6-year period. Yes. So thank you very much, James. And one of the important things I think to note here is that throughout this period of the last 18 months or so of COVID, this program has been continuing on unabated. We have been doing rounds of grants. We have been managing disbursements, and the schools themselves have been continuing to invest in their programs and in their capacity in order to make sure that as we come out of this, we are not just sort of in recovery mode, but we are in full speed. So I thank everybody who's been part of that, and obviously our team as well. Skills capital grants are important really for three reasons, programmatically anyway. One is to expand capacity in vocational technical programs in high demand fields by upgrading equipment to current industry standards. So that's critically important in its own right. Second, which Secretary Acosta mentioned, is it's a critical enabling investment for the Career Technical Initiative, which the governor announced 18 months ago. And in doing so, it has allowed us to establish 10 programs, soon to be 16 CTI programs in high schools, in vocational technical high schools across the Commonwealth, and to accelerate that growth to reach that 20,000 and hopefully even more students, both youth and adults, who will be going through those programs. And then the third is it has also been a key enabler through, in order to support early college pathway programs, in particular something called innovation pathways, which are industry-specific courses of study that provide work-based learning experiences, career exploration, technical coursework, and counseling in order to help students who are not necessarily in an occupational track prepare for careers in high demand and hopefully high-paying industries as well. So it has been the foundation for all of that that's been going on and going on consistently and thoroughly throughout the last 18 months. We now have almost 50 innovation pathways with about 120 industry sector programs associated with it. As I said, we're up to 16 CTI programs. And equally important, as the governor mentioned, these are all programs that are associated with employer partnerships, including, in some cases, resource investments and co-investments from employers, which have added $25 million to the $100 million that we've invested in state resources. So anyway, there's a lot of great work that's going on. As a result of these skills capital grants, we are touching on the order of 40,000 young people and adults who are participating in the programs that are supported through these skill capital investments. And by the way, in addition just to the dollars that come through the capital pipeline, this has supported an expansion of vocational technical enrollment of close to 5,000 students over the last 5 or 6 years, which adds millions of dollars in ongoing revenue to these critical institutions. And by the way, that's both at the elementary and secondary level, the high school level, but also in higher education as well. So, with all of that, my main job here is to invite up the 6 award winners who are here today, representing the 47 who were part of the whole grant package. Together, they account for about $1.5 million out of the $9.7 million in total awards. Lieutenant Governor mentioned them all, so what I will do is I will, one at a time, go through each school. I'll read through quickly what the investment is buying for them and for us. And as I call your name, if you can come up here, and are we going to do sort of photos over on this side? If you can just come up over here on the left-hand side of the dais, the Governor, Lieutenant Governor will get up, shake your hand, pat you on the back, and we'll take some pictures. I'm afraid there are no checks and no cash that'll be changing hands, but trust me, if James is on the job, you'll get your money. So with that, let me start with Greater Lawrence Technical School in Andover. Greater Lawrence received $220,000 for its advanced manufacturing and metal fabrication program. The high school will expand the advanced manufacturing shop and upgrade equipment in the metal fab and joining technologies lab. The new equipment will help expand the school's Career Technical Institute by increasing the number of students enrolled in the afternoon and evening programs. Congratulations. Next is Mass Bay Community College. We have President David Podell here. Mass Bay was awarded $750,000 for its Nursing and Allied Health Pathways program. I believe this is a multi-year grant, if I'm not mistaken. Dave, is that right? Okay. The college will purchase new equipment to support students in the nursing and medical imaging pathways. Students have the opportunity to continue to the practical nursing certificate and associate's degree program in nursing and then proceed to a bachelor's degree at Framingham State. Students gain clinical training at one of the college's 45 partnering health organizations. Congratulations. Next, we have the Northeast Metropolitan Regional Vocational High School in Wakefield. Northeast received $61,000 for its allied health programs. The school will upgrade and modernize equipment in the health assisting and dental assisting programs, which serves more than 180 students. Congratulations. Thank you. And next, our host, Peabody Public Schools. Peabody's grant in this round is $125,000. Remember, that's on top of the $175,000 that we talked about earlier and whose equipment we visited. This is for medical assisting. The school will purchase simulation-based training equipment for medical assistant students to gain hands-on practice and knowledge. The equipment will include patient simulators, electronic thermometers, spirometers, did I get that right? Is that a thing? Pediatric scales, diagnostic equipment, and vision and hearing screeners. Congratulations, Peabody. And next up is Salem High School. Salem received $116,000 for their automotive technology program. Salem High will modernize its auto tech program to ensure students have the skills required by local employers. Equipment and technology purchased, including modern brake, alignment, tire, and diagnostic training equipment, will enable students to prepare for ASE industry standard certifications. Congratulations. Oh, wait. You can still apply. And finally, Swampscott High School.
I did not know that they were women. I didn't know they were women.
Governor assures me he had nothing to do with this application. But Swampscott is receiving about $75,000 for their manufacturing innovation pathway. Swampscott High is launching a newly state-approved innovation pathway program in advanced manufacturing in the fall of 2021. Grant funds will help create a manufacturing and fab lab that includes hand tools and basic wood and metalworking machinery, as well as 3D printers, replicators, a laser cutter, and a CNC machine for exposure to more industry-standard manufacturing processes, and support students in attaining MACWIC and OSHA certifications and specific certifications in industry-standard software such as SolidWorks. Again, congratulations, Swampscott. So congratulations to everybody who's here today. Congratulations to all 47 winners. And let me turn it over to the governor.
Thanks, Jeff. This is great. No, apparently not. You're going to get the money with or without the envelope. Wait a minute, mass bag. We got them all.
So he had one job. He had one job.
He had one job.
Make the boss do your job.
So before I open up for questions, I just want to say one thing about Greater Lawrence. One of the last events the Lieutenant Governor and I did before the pandemic began was we went to Greater Lawrence to check out their CTI program. And at that point in time, they were running a 3-shift program for kids who were actually students at Greater Lawrence in machining, kids who were students at Lawrence High School who came in the afternoon for that machining program, and then young adults who were looking to make a career transition who were coming to the evening program, which started around 6 o'clock, 5:30, something like that. And there were literally employers who were hovering over them, just waiting for people to finish their degree program so that they could hire them and bring them into their workforce. And the Lieutenant Governor and I had a chance to talk to a number of employers and a bunch of the students and a number of the teachers who were there. And that particular program, with the gear that you got through that original Workforce Capital Grant program, was spectacular. And for us, anyway, that was in many ways the inspiration for filing a significantly expanded 3-shift CTI program statewide, because a number of the schools who had demonstrated how effective this could be had made it clear to us that we should do more of this, and your school in particular was one of the ones that really got the ball rolling. So thank you for all you folks have done in that space. It's really meaningful. Questions? Unrelated? Really? I'm so surprised. Yeah. I'm not considering changing the mask guidance. We pay, at this time, we pay a lot of attention to the data associated with case counts and with hospitalizations and the tragedies associated with the loss of life. But you can't look at the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and look at our vaccination rate, our hospitalization rate, and compare it to where the rest of the country is. The rest of the country at this point in time is averaging a hospitalization rate on a per capita basis that is many times the hospitalization rate here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. The same goes with case counts. the fact that so many people in Massachusetts have been vaccinated, and that is a real tribute to the enthusiasm that the people of this Commonwealth showed to getting vaccinated, has put us in a dramatically different place than many other states across this country. I hope and pray that many other states move as aggressively as the people in Massachusetts have moved to get vaccinated. Vaccinations are the pathway out of this pandemic, period. And I can't tell you how grateful I am, and I know I speak for the Lieutenant Governor and everybody on our team, that so many people in Massachusetts see that and have stood up and gotten vaccinated and encouraged their friends and their colleagues to do the same. We're going to run hundreds of vaccination clinics in conjunction with our colleagues in the K-12 world between now and the start of school. We expect that will continue to boost our numbers among the kids between the ages of 12 and 19, where again, we are a national leader. If you look at the average rate of vaccination among those kids between the ages of 12 and 19 who are in school nationally, the national numbers are basically in the mid-50s to the low 60s. In Massachusetts, those numbers are in the mid to high 70s. And as we continue to vaccinate kids going forward, we will continue to provide kids with the absolute most beneficial protection you can possibly give them, which is vaccinations. Now, we've made a very strong recommendation to our colleagues in K-5, K-6 education that because there is not a vaccine currently available for that population, there will be at some point, hopefully this fall, but there's not at this time, that those kids, we believe, should be masked up until they have the opportunity to get vaccinated. And our recommendation for the kids in middle and high school is that if you're not vaccinated, you should wear a mask. If you are vaccinated, you don't need to. We've also made very clear that if you have any kinds of medical conditions that might make you susceptible to COVID under any circumstance, you should wear a mask. If you are with people who are susceptible to COVID, indoors especially, you should wear a mask. And we're certainly going to work with our colleagues in the federal government to make sure we do all we can as the rules become more available and clearer with respect to handling boosters for immunocompromised individuals, that we do all we can to make sure those folks have access to vaccine boosters as well. But at this point in time, we don't have a plan to change our guidance. We've made pretty clear that we think for the K-6 kids, the best thing school districts can do is to require a mask until such point in time that those kids get vaccinated. But the vaccination rates vary a bit, but especially the case counts vary significantly across the Commonwealth. And we've generally taken a position that we establish what I consider to be a statewide standard or a statewide recommendation, and then we let the locals make the call that makes the most sense for them. And we believe that has a lot to do with why Massachusetts has been so successful in managing the virus over the course of the past year and a half. Giving locals the opportunity to own the decisions they make is a big and important issue. And if you look at what's playing out in other states right now, where state government has taken away the authority for locals to make their own decisions, that's not the right way to play this game. It's just not. Yeah. Bless you. I actually think that, I'd say two things about this. The first is we now have a growing base of experience between employers and educators, whether they're community colleges, vocational schools, traditional high schools, or others, that demonstrate that it works. So one thing I would urge those employers who have been involved in this stuff to be able and willing to speak to other employers if the educational institutions they've been working with ask them to, because there's a story to be told here, and frankly, peer-to-peer between employers, is in many cases the best way to deliver the message to an employer about why this is a program that can work. The second thing I would say is now that we've moved sort of a bit beyond what was a much more aggressive and concerning time with regard to the pandemic, I think some of the chambers could probably do, yeah, I mean, Peabody has a terrific chamber. I would think the Peabody Chamber in conjunction with the Peabody High School could put together quite a program for people, and some folks might do it in person, some folks could do it virtually, but there are opportunities there. And again, I think peer-to-peer between some of the employers who have really benefited from and understood the power of these programs, talking to other employers is a good way to move this forward. The other thing I would say about that is if you folks on the employer side believe there's an opportunity that we're missing with respect to how we're framing this program and the places we're focusing on, you know, Secretary Keneally, who's not here, spends a lot of time talking to the employer community, but so does Secretary Peyser and so does Secretary Acosta. And we have made adjustments to the way we think about where our investments should be made here based on what we learned from the employer community about where they think the big opportunities are and where they might be willing to put either in-kind resources or real dollars to work. As Secretary Peyser pointed out, you know, out of the $102 million that we've put to work so far, which is about 387 grants and about 187 educational institutions, the employer community's kicked in another 25 million in hard money. That doesn't even count a lot of the in-kind contributions and equipment gifts and other kinds of stuff that people have put to work on this. So I really think the peer-to-peer thing with the employer community is probably the best opportunity. Primarily because the data got really small. I mean, when we got down to sort of 80 cases a day, you know, a day-over-day adjustment really didn't tell people very much. We've gone back to the hospital community and asked them to work with us now that we're sort of more in the 350, 360 range to reinstate those data, and we will shortly.